Man, the wore C on the sweater for the Rangers, played obviously with the Lightning as well, so you know these two franchises and cities and fan bases so very well. We were talking as we watched this game. It's Game 5, you're tied 2 games apiece. There's a tension that comes with that to begin with. But when you know and you can sense early on in a game like this, goals are really going to come at a premium. It's going to be a grinder. As a guy that's lived it, does it magnify the tension? And if it does, how does it show itself in the way the game gets played?
It does, and you could see early on there, right? Hit a couple posts early, goalies were playing well, and especially when you got 2 goalies like this that, can steal games. You knew there was going to be low goals, and all of a sudden that tension rises, and you see less offense because nobody wants to make a mistake. If you make one mistake, it could be in the back of your net. So you're not taking those extra chances. You're not trying those seam passes. And we sat there and we talked about it early on. We're like, this is going to be a 1-goal game. Thankfully, it didn't go overtime after I jinxed us on the show, as you said. I was going to be asked back after that. But
No, you're welcome anytime.
But in a Game 5 like this, you can just feel that tension building, and that's what makes these games so special. These are the fun games to play in. I know it's low scoring, but every play is so big at that moment.
It's just, I'm just trying to imagine, as you're waiting for a shift, I'm sure you're catching your breath, but you don't want to make the mistake, but your play can be the one that shifts the series one way or another. I imagine that's got to be what you live for.
It is. You don't think about making the mistake. You think about, I could be the difference maker. One play, I can break this series open, go back home, if you're Tampa, and have a chance to move on to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Shesterkin was beaten on a couple of shots early, but they weren't goals. They hit posts. And then it seemed like he had great vision throughout and was really, really big. Both goals that the Tampa Bay got, the second and the third, he really didn't have a line of sight, did he?
He didn't have a chance. Shesterkin was great tonight. He played unbelievable, especially that first goal. There's, 8 guys in front of him. It looked like you could see the shot from behind finds it. And then even the second one, I think that goes off Palat's shin pad and ends up in the back of the net.
There you go.
And you can see here, he doesn't know. He can't see that. It's a redirected, minute left in the game, ends up being the game winner. But you could tell early on, both these goalies were on. And sometimes when you're a player and those shots do hit the post, for the New York Rangers, it calms your nerves a little bit. Like, we got away with one there, right?
Puck luck, right?
We got a little bit of puck luck, as they like to say it, exactly.
Now, you mentioned something that I found interesting, something that you had dealt with the Rangers, where they come in they've been the hunter, right? They've had to erase deficits, and all credit to them. But they also had to endure a 7-game series twice. And you went through that with the Rangers and then found yourself in a situation where you felt in games, 4, 5, and 6, that it revealed. What reveals itself in that moment with that team that maybe we're seeing here? Yeah,
everybody talks about rest, right? Is the rest beneficial? Well, you know what? Rest beneficial when you get late into a series. That year we lost to the New Jersey Devils in the conference finals. We went 7 with Ottawa. We went 7 with Washington. And by the end of that New Jersey Devils series, you could feel it. Emotionally, you're tired having to come back and play in those big games. But physically, you're tired as well. Your legs are not there. It hurt us in that series. And you can see it here. The Rangers still don't have that jump that we're used to seeing, that quick strike ability. And I think going 7-7 is affecting them right now.
I'm really interested in you mentioned emotional energy, because I've always thought about that. We've talked forever about what you all are willing to endure, what you will risk to get your hands on the Stanley Cup physically. But emotionally, you're human beings. You got lives, you got families, you're exhausted. How do you manage the emotional energy when you find yourself maybe running low?
It's tough. You dig deep, and like you said, you're playing for the Stanley Cup. You're always going to find energy, especially from the crowd, your teammates. But, either you have your legs or you don't. You can have as much emotional energy as you want, right?
Right.
If your legs aren't there, your legs aren't there. And I'm starting to see that a little bit with the New York Rangers right now.
Lightning win the series tonight?
I said whoever won Game 4 was going to win this series, so I think the Lightning have it right now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.